I bought a VFR, 21-year-old Honda VFR V4 engine, baby, for $350. Here's your money, Joe.
Thanks.
Now, it's not in great condition. It's in poor condition, really, as we'll see. I bought it out of a van. The story goes that the guy I bought it from is a motorcycle mechanic and he took it in on trade. The guy he got it from, the previous owner, is the one who wrecked it, supposedly. And that's unfortunate for this story because the first thing I wanted to know about this bike was how fast were you going when this bike went down? And this is interesting information because of the size of the hole in the engine. Look at this. I mean, you could technically call this 2 holes, but man, this thing must have slid for a while to sand off this much metal. So it's got a hole in the engine and who knows what inside the engine. There's also damage to the plastics. The windshield is missing. The brake pedal and lever are broken. The shifter lever is broken. The gas tank is dented. Both rims are trash. Most surfaces are oxidized or rusted from being outside. The rear subframe is twisted. The seat is missing. The taillight is gone. The front fork seals are blown, at least. Let's hope that the forks are not bent. So it's real rough. However, it does come with heated grips. The engine does turn over if you turn it by hand at the crank. However, it does not turn over if you engage the gear and try and roll the bike, which indicates that there's some kind of debris stuck inside the transmission, jamming it up. Let's hope we can fix that. And what's also odd about this engine is that it is surprisingly easy to turn over by hand. It's got a feeling somewhere between the spark plugs have been removed to the heads have been removed. It's a rather low compression feel. And this is concerning because the heads and spark plugs appear to be in place. But that mystery is for another day, and until then, I will optimistically believe that I just don't know enough about this engine in particular to know how it should feel on a compression stroke. It is, however, more likely, I do realize that there's a lesson here in this engine for me, just waiting for me to find it. Kind of like the lesson I learned on the Goldwing, which was never buy a bike with a seized engine. It's not supposed to be all mushroomed out like that, right? Let's stay optimistic though. Now this brings up the very positive fact that this bike comes with a clean title, which is better than a salvage title like my CB500 back here has, which means that if I can get this bike running and driving again, it'll be of greater value than it would if it had a salvage title, which since it's been in a wreck, it probably should have a salvage title, but it doesn't. Now this is not the first $350 bike I have found in the local classifieds. Previously, I found a 1997 Ducati Monster for the same price and passed on it for 2 reasons. 1, it did not have a title, and 2, more importantly, it's hard to find parts for Ducatis that are before the year 2000, which meant that my ability to finish such a project would be based upon my ability to find the parts for the project. And how much would those rare parts cost when I did find them? This is just too much monetary risk for HooptieDoodle. Which brings us to another issue now facing the HooptieDoodle shop: Hondas. Every bike we end up with is a Honda. Why is this? It's not on purpose. There are other brands I'm interested in. Virtually any bike, really. Harley, Indian, Triumph, Kawasaki, KTM, Suzuki. They all have models I'm intrigued by and would like to work with. Not that Honda doesn't, it clearly does. And it seems to me that the reason I always end up with Hondas is simply a matter of cost. They cost less than every other bike. I believe this is because Honda is the biggest producer of motorcycles in the world and they produce a ton of them, which brings the cost down. I mean, these are not rare bikes. Another benefit to the largest manufacturer is that they make a wide selection of models. And since I geek out on different engine configurations, you can have 1-cylinder, 2-cylinder, 3-cylinder, 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder engines, and they can all be in different variations. Like they can be in parallel, they can be opposing, they can be in a V configuration. Honda has made a version of each of those at some point in the recent past. They are also super reliable with readily available cheap parts. And HooptieDoodle is cheap. No, actually HooptieDoodle is about value. And Honda presents a good value proposition. Now whether or not this current bike is a value proposition is yet to be seen. And the first thing we'll need to do on this bike is dive into the engine and see if it can be saved. A V4, baby! Because if the engine is no good, this project is no good, and I want to get out when all I've spent is $350.
Thanks, sucker!
And what are we gonna do with this bike? What's the plan? I don't know yet. Do we put the engine into a small car?
1998 VFR 800 V4 Interceptor motor.
Do we return the bike to stock form? Do we customize it? Time will tell, but for now, I wanted to share the acquisition of this special bike with you. And for those of you that know something about VFRs, that have owned them before, let me know. What are the little quirks and things that I should be looking for on this bike? What do I need to know that I don't already know? Please put that stuff in the comments. I'll be reading those and looking forward to finding out what I don't know about VFRs. It should help me a lot on this project, and the earlier I can get ahead on that sort of information and research, the better this project will be. So thank you. Thank you ahead of time. For right now though, this bike is going to sit because I am a one project at a time kind of fella. Did I just call myself simple-minded? So thanks for watching this video. Keep on wrenching yourself, and let's all dream of the sweet sound of a V4 engine.